"You're too kind for strangers," the cook whispered. But no one knew the small note the waitress slipped to a sad old man that night would melt every heart in the diner. Emma noticed him the moment he walked in, an old man with tired eyes and shoulders that looked too heavy for his thin frame. He sat in the same booth every Thursday, staring at the empty seat across from him as if expecting someone who never arrived. Tonight, though, something was different. His hands shook more. His breathing was rough. And tucked halfway out of his coat pocket was a folded newspaper with an obituary circled in red ink. Emma tried to smile when she brought his coffee. "Evening, sir. Cold out there today." He didn't look up. He just nodded, eyes fixed on the steam rising from his cup. Emma felt a pinch in her chest. She'd served thousands of customers, but this man, he carried a loneliness she couldn't ignore. When she returned with his pie, she saw a single tear roll down his cheek, landing right on the table. He wiped it quickly, embarrassed, pretending it didn't happen. Everyone else pretended too. The world always pretends not to see broken hearts. But Emma wasn't everyone. She stepped back, pulled out a small napkin, and scribbled a message with her shaking hand. She didn't overthink the words. She just wrote what she felt. "Please don't give up. The world still needs people like you." Her heart raced as she placed it gently under his spoon and walked away before courage left her body. For minutes, nothing happened. Then she saw him reach for his pie, pause, unfold the napkin, and freeze. His shoulders trembled. His breathing hitched. Slowly, painfully slowly, he pushed himself up from the booth, napkin crushed in his fist, and began walking toward her. Every fork in the diner stopped midair. Every voice died. Emma's heart hammered against her ribs as the old man approached, tears filling his eyes. He held up the napkin with shaking fingers and whispered, "Miss, why would you write this for someone like me?" And the entire diner leaned in, waiting for her answer. His voice was so soft, so cracked, that Emma felt her own throat close. She wiped her palms on her apron and whispered, "Because you looked like someone who needed to hear it." The old man blinked fast, tears gathering. No one has spoken to me kindly in weeks." He tried to steady himself, gripping the counter. Everyone moves on so fast. But when you lose someone, time doesn't move at all. Emma's heart twisted. "Sir, was that obituary in your pocket? Someone close?" He nodded slowly and pulled out the paper. His hands shook as he unfolded it. A woman's photo smiled up at them. Kind eyes, soft hair, gentle face. "She was my wife," he whispered. "Claire. We were married 52 years. The diner went silent. Even the fry cook stopped flipping burgers. Emma covered her mouth. "I'm so sorry." He managed a painful smile. "Today is her birthday. Every year, I brought her here for pie and coffee. She loved this place. She loved this booth. She loved—" His voice cracked hard. "Being alive." Emma stepped closer without thinking, her eyes glistening. "You came here today because of her." He nodded. "I didn't know where else to go." Then his voice softened, almost breaking. "When she died, I thought the world forgot me too." Emma gently touched his hand. "The world forgets too easily. People shouldn't." The old man swallowed hard, then suddenly reached for his wallet. Emma quickly shook her head. "No, sir, it's not about money." But he wasn't taking out bills. He pulled out an old Polaroid photo. A younger version of him stood beside Claire in the very same booth, laughing like they didn't know sadness existed. He handed it to Emma with trembling fingers. "I haven't shown this to anyone since the funeral, but something about your note." He took a breath. "It made me feel human again." Emma couldn't hold back her tears now. She had a beautiful smile. The old man finally cracked, tears falling freely, shoulders shaking. And then, for a moment that melted the whole diner, he whispered, "Would you sit with me? Just for a minute? She would have liked you." Everyone's heart broke at once. Emma nodded gently and slid into the booth beside him, not as a waitress, but as a human being refusing to let someone grieve alone. Across the diner, customers wiped their eyes. The cook sniffed loudly. Even the tough trucker in the corner looked down at his plate, pretending he wasn't crying. But none of them expected what the old man said next. He looked at Emma with a strange mix of fear and hope. "There's something else I need to tell you," he whispered. "I found a note too, one Claire left behind." Emma's breath froze. "A note?" He nodded. "And it mentions you." Emma's heartbeat stumbled. "And me?" she whispered, unable to understand how a woman she'd never met could have written anything about her. The old man carefully reached into his coat and pulled out a small folded paper, yellowed at the edges, soft from being opened too many times. His hands shook as he placed it on the table between them. "I found this tucked in Claire's recipe book," he said softly. "I didn't understand it at first, but when you slipped me that note, I knew." Emma hesitated, then unfolded it. The handwriting was gentle, flowing, written by someone who loved deeply. It read, "If you ever sit alone at our diner booth, don't be afraid. There will be a girl with warm eyes. She'll notice your silence. Trust her. She'll remind you to keep living. Claire." Emma's breath caught. Her eyes blurred instantly. She wrote this before she died. The old man nodded, tears spilling again. "Claire always believed in people. She said one day someone kind would cross my path when I needed it most." Emma covered her mouth, overwhelmed. "But she didn't know me. How could she?" He smiled through tears. "Claire could sense hearts. She said there are people in this world who carry light without even knowing it. When I saw your note," he tapped his chest gently, "I felt her again." The diner was silent, the kind of silence that feels sacred. Even the buzzing neon sign seemed to soften. Emma wiped her tears clumsily. "Your wife sounds like someone I wish I'd met. She would have hugged you on the spot," he whispered with a trembling laugh. "She used to say, 'The world breaks people, but kindness glues the pieces back.'" Emma placed the note beside his coffee cup. "You're not invisible, sir. And you're not alone. Not while I'm here." He stared at her, really stared, like something inside him was repairing itself piece by fragile piece. "You don't know what you gave me tonight," he said. "You gave me her back, just for a moment." Emma reached across the table and held his hand. It was warm now, no longer shaking. "And you gave me something too," she whispered. "A reminder that love doesn't end. It just changes its seat." Outside, a gentle drizzle began. The kind of rain that felt like a blessing, not a storm. But as the moment softened, the diner door suddenly opened, and a middle-aged woman rushed in, breathless, looking around frantically. When her eyes landed on the old man, relief washed over her face. "Dad, you left the house without telling me. I've been worried sick." She stopped when she saw Emma, then the note, then Claire's photo on the table. "What's happening here?" she asked gently. The old man looked at his daughter, then at Emma, and for the first time in a long time, he smiled, a full, living smile. "Something good," he said. "Something your mother would have loved." Emma slid out of the booth to make space as the old man's daughter slowly approached, her eyes softening when she saw the photo of her mother and the note Emma had written. She touched her father's shoulder gently. "Dad, you're smiling." He nodded, wiping his eyes but unable to hide his grin. "Your mother sent me an angel tonight." Emma blushed. "I just did what anyone would." His daughter cut in softly. "No, not anyone. People walked past him for days. Nurses, neighbors, even family." She sighed, tears gathering. "Grief makes him invisible, at least to others." Emma placed a hand on her heart. "Not to me." The daughter looked at Emma, and something in her expression eased. Trust, gratitude, relief. "Thank you. Truly." Before Emma could respond, the old man gently slid the Polaroid toward her. "Emma, I want you to keep this." Her eyes widened. "Oh no, sir, this belongs to you. It's your memory." He shook his head slowly. "Claire would want you to have it. She believed in signs, and I believe you were ours tonight." Emma felt her throat tighten. She held the Polaroid close, like it was something fragile and sacred. "I'll take care of it. I promise." The daughter squeezed Emma's hand. "We'll start coming every Thursday again. Dad doesn't have to sit alone anymore." Emma smiled warmly. "I'll save the booth for both of you." The old man stood slowly, steadier than when he'd walked in. His eyes were brighter, his shoulders lighter, like a piece of Claire had returned to him. As he began to walk toward the exit with his daughter, he suddenly paused. He turned back to Emma, his voice soft but strong. "You gave me a reason to keep living tonight." Emma pressed a hand over her heart. "You gave me a reason to believe in people again." The old man nodded, then said the words that melted every soul in the diner. "My wife may be gone, but tonight, for the first time, I felt her love still walking beside me." The diner fell pin-drop silent. Then the cook sniffed loudly. The trucker wiped his eyes. Someone whispered, "God, that's beautiful." Emma watched them leave, the Polaroid warm in her hand. And for a long moment after the door closed, she stood there smiling through tears, knowing she hadn't just served a customer. She had revived a memory. She had carried someone's grief for them. She had reminded a broken heart it could beat again. Sometimes, the smallest note, the simplest kindness, is enough to pull someone back from the edge. If this story touched your heart, share it. Because kindness doesn't always wear a smile, and heroes don't always wear uniforms. Sometimes, they walk in covered in dust, carrying stories that could change your heart forever.